and welcome back to Black Girl Lit Vibes, your one-stop shop for jaw-dropping literary drama. And do we have some tea to spill today? So grab your favorite beverage, settle in, and let's dive into the insane updates from Yasmin Angoe's Not What She Seems. Spoilers ahead. If you haven't caught up or finished the novel, then this is your chance now to skedaddle on by, so that we won't spoil anything from you. So I did finish the novel about 2 weeks ago. Life happened. I didn't get around to recording this last video, but nevertheless, um, here we are. So, y'all, the twists and betrayals and revelations that came out in this last portion of this novel, I was not ready for. I will tell you, nobody. Angie's not who she seems. Jack is not who she seems. Faye is not who she seems. And I know that the title says not what she seems. Nick ain't even what he seems like. None of them. You cannot trust anyone down in Brookhaven, South Carolina. Not a single solitary one of them. I found out why Angie made that comment to Jack about her being just like him. I found out who him was. Also, I learned why Angie said that she would castrate Conrad, because he is why Angie said she would castrate Conrad. Mind blown. Mind blown. With that in mind, Jack is not who she seems because Miss MJ Brody is not her real dad. That cowboy man, Angie has to reveal it all. Angie has to reveal it all. So, in the midst of all of this stuff coming out, Jack solicits the help of the armchair detectives to figure out who Faye is and how Faye ties back to Colleton. Let me tell you, that was even crazy. We understand why Granddad had that clock. There was something real special about that clock. It had a whole lot of evidence in it to connect the dots. And the people in Colleton, as Jack is making the phone calls and connections, connect the dot, la la la. Jack is making those connections, and we find out who Faye really is. Faye is not Faye. She's completely someone different. Now, I did scoot on past, but let me go back a little. Conrad shows up. Conrad shows up to Brookhaven. So it's not what I initially thought, that he was trying to manipulate the story as to what happened down there in Brookhaven. But Conrad Conrad came to Brookhaven to claim his manuscript. I want my manuscript. So he starts an argument with Jack in public, the middle of town. Everybody's looking, trying to figure out who this man is. Him and Jack are arguing, going back and forth. And guess who has a front row seat to this argument? Faye. Yeah. And so in all of this, now, I don't know if we talked about the fact that Mia, and I'm probably jumping all over the place because, like I said, it's been 2 weeks ago since I finished it. But Mia, a clerk from the grocery store, also worked at the manor. She ended up giving Jack the key to get in Faye's office. Jack goes in Faye's office and Jack gets the taser, right? Jack goes down to the police office to use that as the reason that Faye killed granddad. No hard concrete evidence. Child is just operating on pure emotions at this point, but that backfires on her. So in the meantime, Jack is out there in those woods where she can see the manor, and she sees Faye does something to Mia, calls the police. Lord have mercy. Calls the police. The police come and Mia is nowhere to be found. And what does that do? Make Jack look crazy all over again. So let's fast forward back. So Conrad is in town. Conrad goes missing after this heated argument with Jack. Yeah. He goes missing. And what do they find on Jack's car? Blood. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And when they run it, it comes back as Conrad's blood. She gets the heads up from her good friend Sawyer. That was Conrad's blood on her car. So Jack decides that she's not gonna sit around Brookhaven waiting on them to come pick her up, but she has some things to do before she heads out. She had initially planned on going back to DC. Well, with her armchair detectives helped her to identify Faye's true identity. Um, Faye lures Jack to the manor, right? Jack thinks that Faye is going to harm her mother and sister, but Faye lures her to the manor. She gets to the manor, and down in this dungeon of a place where Faye does what she does, she see Conrad strapped to the table. Faye tries to negotiate with Jack. Give me what I want, this, that, and the third. Jack is like, okay, I'll give you what you want. You got to let us go. Include no Conrad over here. Let us all go. But Jack knows that Faye cannot be trusted. She will tell you one thing just to manipulate the situation to give you what she wants. So in all of this chaos and confusion, with Faye having Conrad down in this area of the manor, she knocks Jack out. She kills Conrad first, and then knocks Jack out, and then puts Conrad in the little cooler that you put dead people in, and puts Jack on top of him. Well, Jack wakes up and realizes that she's laying on top of a dead man in this refrigerator and is trying to get out. She kicks and kicks and kicks until she breaks the door free. Now, it kind of reminds me of the Ashley Judd character in Double Jeopardy when they put her over in that coffin with the dead corpse, and she had to use the cigarette lighter to see, and she used a gun to shoot the lock off of it and get out. That's what I was reminded of when I was reading that part. But nevertheless, she gets out. She follows the voices and she hears her mom's voice talking to Faye. She gets in the room with Faye and her mom and Penn and see what's going on. And so then they start having dialogue and trying to negotiate how to get out and get away from her. In the midst of all of the arguments and the fights, Nick walks in. Nick is so confused. He's trying to figure out who to believe, and Jack is wanting him to believe her, and Faye is wanting him to believe her, and to spin it and turn Jack against Nick. Faye begins to reveal things about Nick that Jack did not know. One, Nick and Faye had slept together. Nasty, nasty. And the other part was the major part was that Jack really didn't kill her father. And Faye was telling Jack Nick knows the truth and trying to get Nick to tell the truth. Nevertheless, In the tussle and fight, Jack ends up breaking free. Her mother tells her to run. So Jack is running, Nick is running after Jack, and Angie is running after the two of them. So they're running back through this area where this cliff was that Jack's father had fallen off and died. And Jack hides from him, and then he eventually finds her and does tell her that no, Jack, you did not kill your father. Basically, I did. He pushed him over the cliff. And so in this dialogue where they're discussing this, um, Nick ends up meeting that same demise. He goes over the cliff. He actually tries to bring Jack over with him, but by this time, Angie has gotten there and she's holding on to Jack's feet to pull Jack back up. So, Jack then learns um, that no, she did not kill her father. It was Nick who did that, but he let her take the blame so he could go and live his little rosy life and not tarnish his dad's name, right? Crazy, crazy. So after all of that settles down, Angie goes to jail. Unfortunately, Nick is dead. Conrad is dead, but Conrad kind of does make it right by Jack in his death, if you want to say that. That manuscript after making the news and everybody getting a wind of what happened because of the university's investigation. Again, 1 + 1 = 2. I said that at the beginning. If people could put 1 + 1 together, then it equals 2. So they are putting, the news outlets have gotten wind of these stories and put 1 and 1 together to get the 2. And so the publishing company has called Jack to strike the deal with her in releasing the book. So she does get something out of Conrad. It unfortunately pays off in the end because she's going to get this book deal. She is also going to she's also going overseas to live for a year. Also, she is in communications with Dr. Weiger. I really hope, like, as if this is going to go on, but I hope in novel land, Jack and Weiger, well, first Jack needs to go to get some therapy to work out her issues and heal from her trauma so that she and Weiger could be together. So, I mean, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. We learned that no one, not a single solitary person in this novel, is who she seems. Not Penn, not Angie, not Jack, and not Faye. None of them. Now, I started out thinking that it was Faye who was not what she seems. I ended up heavier at the end on Jack because Jack was painted to be this wild child and she was not who she seemed to be. But, you know, nobody in this novel was who they seem to be. So that just goes to show you we should not judge people based off of someone else's opinion of that person. Because if we looked at Jack based off of the town's opinion, we would think she was a bad girl. We looked at Faye based off the majority of people in town, you would think that she was the nice lady trying to revitalize the town. The same way with Angie. Not to say Angie wasn't a nice person, but she had skeletons in her closet. Like, ma'am, your first partner, what you did to him? And why was Cowboy Dude on your doorstep about that man? So your case was the case that could not be solved. And then the one that had to be solved was the Colleton girls. So, Not What She Seems was a complete roller coaster of deception, revenge, and truth. And listen, we still have so much more to unpack. And if you want the full deep dive into this book, the twists, the theories, and the details we didn't even scratch the surface of, then you can check out the podcast review at Podbean that will drop this coming Saturday. So go ahead, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you can stay up to date on all the videos that we drop. And join us for the next book review from Black Girl Lit Vibes.